Watch reviews are ruining our hobby, and you know it too. Think about it. Have you ever bought a watch and you absolutely love it, and then after watching a few reviews, you start liking it less? You know that feeling. You thought you found something special, but a few thumbnails later, a few videos later, you're wondering, did I get the wrong one? I've been there. We all have. And that's what today's video is about. Because the truth is, sometimes the very thing that's meant to feed the hobby is starting to quietly eat away at it. So let's be real. We live in a world where watch collecting has really just become content. Every release is gonna get 50 videos with people saying the same thing. Every micro brand will get a top 10 alternatives list, and even before the watch ships. And I don't think it's evil. I think that's just the ecosystem that we're living in. But I really think that something happens when you consume too much of it. I think the joy starts to fade. And the hobby turns into this weird homework where there's just honestly too many options that you can't even choose. And before we know it, we're chasing hype instead of meaning, and we're being influenced by influencers. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, Tyree, I am a watch reviewer. So how can I make a video asking if watch reviews are ruining the hobby? And I think that is a fair question. And that's not saying that I'm against reviews. I've learned half the stuff I know from watching other people's reviews. They really do help us discover, compare, and appreciate. But somewhere along the line, there's this balance that's important to acknowledge. Sometimes I think we stopped watching them to learn and we start watching them to validate. And when watch reviews start telling us how to feel instead of helping us see, that's when the hobby is losing its heartbeat. I feel that we've all felt that pill. You know, the hype drop, the brand buzz, that must-have feeling that hits you, and it's like a dopamine of caffeine. It's exciting. It's also super addictive. Every new release gives us this hit of novelty, and every negative review gives us something to defend. But meaning doesn't have to live in this constant loop. It can also just live in a quiet moment, when your phone's down, when a watch just is. Let's talk about a watch that I have an example, and it's my Tudor Ranger. When I first got it, I absolutely loved it. I loved the way the dial looked. I loved the field ready, exactly what I wanted, and it fit me. And then I made a mistake of watching too many reviews about a watch that I had already loved. And I started to have some of these critiques kind of seep into my mind. People complaining that it was too simple or too small or too safe. There was even a Reddit comment that actually messed up the way that I looked at the hour hand for a long time. I'm not gonna share it here just in case you have it and you enjoy it. But what the problem was, I started to see it through their eyes. And every time I wore it, those voices kind of came in the back of my head. And I almost forgot why I loved it in the first place. That's the issue. I bought the watch because it reminded me of my time in service. I love the simplicity, I love the reliability, and I love the purpose. And when I remembered that, the noise kind of quieted. But once I let that noise in, it's always there. That's what I think is bad about reviews. I think they can mess up our ability to truly collect. Because sometimes we're not just collecting the watches, we're also starting to collect these opinions that are in the back of our mind. So maybe it's not that reviews are actually ruining the hobby. Maybe it's that we're letting them kind of ruin us and our mindsets. And there's a simple fix to that. Enjoy first, watch second. Just put your phone down and wear the watch. Let it earn its meaning before you compare it to someone else's. Because this hobby isn't just about algorithms, it's about alignment between who we are and what we wear. And when it comes to content, you need to feed your heart wisely. There's an old saying that says, we are what we eat. And there's also a proverb that puts it even better. Guard your heart above all else, for everything you do flows from it. Guard your joy, guard your time, guard your love for the hobby. Make sure the content that you're consuming are people that you trust, who are giving you actual feedback, but aren't just overly critical about watches just because. Not saying any names, but you probably know the channels that I'm talking about. And if you're wondering what this channel's about, for me, it's not really about reviews. There's a reason why I actually don't even do that many. Of almost 100 videos, I have probably less than 10 reviews. This channel is also not really about specs. It's more about the stories. because I believe it's stories over specs every time. Wrist Unwound is supposed to be about where watches and stories meet, where the focus is on the collector first and the watch second. And it's the stories over the specs. And also, if that resonates with you, I'd ask you to please come check out wristunwound.com. This is where we're collecting collector stories. We're finding new ways to share them with the community. In fact, I'm actually looking for collectors to interview because it's not about the reviews. That makes this hobby great. It's about you. It's about your stories. So if you consider being on the channel either in person, sitting next to me if you live in the Midwest, or maybe through virtually where we get the split screen, I would love to have you. So either let me know in the comments down below or go to wristunwound.com where you can submit your story. But thank you for sharing this story with me. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree, if there's something that I'm missing, or just something that I should consider in the future. But for everything, there's a season, and for every watch, a story. Thanks for being a part of mine. God bless, and peace.